Go ahead.
Okay, great. Silence from the peanut gallery. Thank you. Okay. Welcome to Million Hour Workweek, where we learn the stories and work life of entrepreneurs so that if you are looking to start this type of business, you'll have a little insight into what it takes to start, run, and successfully profit off of a business like this. And for the community to learn a little bit more about the person behind the business. Today, I have here with me Skyler Andrews from Forest Wood Floors.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. How are you today?
Welcome. I'm doing great. I'm so excited.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, let's just jump right into it.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's give them a little bit of an overview on what Forest Wood Floors is.
For sure. What camera should I look at while we're doing
You can look at whatever you want. This one's yours, and then that one's the main one.
Okay. And do you want me to look at you too?
I mean, yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's natural.
Cross whatever you want to do.
Okay, awesome. So we are a residential flooring company, and so we do hardwood flooring and then also tile installation, and we also sand and finish the hardwood floors. Tile gets into we do flooring, but we also do backsplashes and showers, and then we also do the other floor covering. Really, all the floor coverings that there are, we do, but most of our work is hardwood flooring and tile.
Nice. What did you think that you were going to get into whenever you were a kid? Like, what did you think that your job was going to be?
That's such a good question. I thought that I was going to be a teacher for the longest time.
Really?
And then I moved on to wanting to be a physical therapist for a while. And then I think realizing that school wasn't really the path that I wanted. I didn't go to college right after high school. It just wasn't the move for me. I really liked working, and I liked doing different types of things every day, and so that's kind of how I got from that to here. Teaching, I would have had to do a lot more school, and school just wasn't really it for me. So.
Yeah. Whenever you say that you liked doing a lot of other work jobs, what were some of those that you did?
So my first job was when I was 16. I worked at Whataburger, and it was fast food, but I had a blast. And I learned, they had me in the front, the dining area for a long time, but the back was where the fun was. And so I convinced them to let me learn how to do the drive-through window, and then eventually learned how to do everything that there was to do. And I just really liked knowing how to do all the things that there were, and being able to jump into different positions throughout the day and kind of mix up what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. And then I worked, I had a bunch of I worked at a gym for a little bit, and then I had just kind of random food jobs for a little bit. And then I got my job at Apple, and that was the longest job that I had before starting this job. And there it was kind of the same thing. Once I kind of got comfortable with what I was doing, I always wanted to learn how to do other things. And so at Apple, I ended up working probably all of the positions, all of the areas of the store, because there was the sales side, and then the technical side, and then the back of house side, and then the business side. And so I ended up getting to do all of those things while I was there. And I don't know, I just always liked having variety and getting to hop around throughout the day. So that's kind of my background.
Would you say that you came from an entrepreneurial family?
Yes, because my dad started this business, and he worked regular jobs when I was growing up, but he also always had a tree service business on the side. And he wanted from when he was, I don't remember, I feel I've always known that he wanted to own his own business, because that was something that he started talking about when I was pretty young. And the companies that he was working for, he didn't have the opportunity to buy in at them, and so he kind of kept bouncing around until he finally was you know what, I'm just gonna go for it and start this business. He had a history in flooring, that was one of his jobs, and so starting this business, and then he went more into the tree business that he has as well, the tree service. And then he was kind of always teaching us things different ways to make money, different ways to work. I grew up like hauling brush for him on the tree jobs that he would do like on nights and weekends. He'd pay us in popsicles, Quick Trip, which is awesome. The kids now like make money, but we got popsicles, and it was great. It was great. Yeah,
it was fantastic.
So, but he also like I started a like a pretzel business when I was a kid. I wanted to raise money for some different things, and so I would make, and I don't know where I got this idea to make chocolate covered pretzels and sell them, but I would actually go to he worked in like a warehouse, like office kind of situation, and I would go and sell chocolate covered pretzels to like the guys that would come in. Which was, it was like a lot, it was a good lesson. Like it was a lot of work, but it was a cool way to like it was something I could always like pick up if I wanted to, or stop if I want. Like you have just so much control when it's something that you're starting. So it's cool.
What would you say do you feel was the driving factor for you to do those things? Like
That's
be
such a good question.
Entrepreneurial.
For sure. I think my motivation at the time, like I was like 8 or 9 when I was doing that, and there was this like ministry that I found out about that like bought Bibles for kids. Like they would like buy them and like translate them or something. And I think they were like a few dollars like per one. And so I think that was the reason, is I was like, I wanted like support that and be able to like have the money to do that. And then I'm remembering now too that I was like always babysitting growing up. And I think I just I'm realizing it like as I'm thinking out loud. Having something that was like that I had ownership over was a big deal. Even like as a teenager babysitting, like I felt so just like empowered and almost important as like a 12-year-old for like an adult to call me and be like, hey, can you watch my kids? And to like be the person that could like solve that like need for them was really cool. And so I think those were motivating factors for me for sure.
Wow. So well spoken too. So what would you say success looked like in your household growing up?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think just working hard. Like that was my dad is a big like work kind of guy. He like works for fun, and that's just kind of how he's wired and how he's always been wired. And so working hard and like being able to like sign your name to your day at the end of the day was like a big thing that he wanted us to know. Like they like had us, I don't know that I have a lot of siblings, but I was like 16 and they were like, okay, you can drive, you have a car, you're getting a job. And so got a job immediately. Wasn't, of course, as a 16-year-old, wasn't like thrilled about that. But looking back and like, no, that taught me so much. And like, I'm so grateful that he like made me do that. Because I see like just the value of the fact that I had started working like earlier than, you know, some people don't get a job until after college, which is totally fine. But I felt like I was more prepared for other jobs and just for like I just got exposure to that so much earlier.
You just gained for that. More life experience.
Exactly. Just like if you start younger. So.
Okay. All right. So, hold on. Oh god, these are numbered because one got put out of place. Okay. What did your life look like leading up to the departure of Apple and starting this job?
Okay. I think like it was good, but I was working, so I was working part-time and going to school full-time. And part-time, we had like just finished, I graduated in 2021, and so we were kind of still in the thick of like the post-COVID and post-COVID like ways that things were operating in like a retail store. And so that was a more challenging time. Like that was just a challenging time for any industry. Like that was a rough time. And then I was finishing school, and so I was trying to decide like, do I keep going to school and go like pursue a different type of degree? My dad he started the business, he like went full in with the businesses in 2019, like right before COVID. And home building surprisingly like just kept going. Like it cost more to do everything, but like they didn't really, he was like, I can't tell that anything's happening.
Yeah.
As far as like production goes. And so he was getting busy with both businesses in like probably towards the end of 2020, beginning of 2021 is when we started, I think, to talk. I don't remember exactly when we started talking about it more seriously, but he had like asked me for some help with a few things, and it kind of got my mind thinking of like, okay, could there be a job opportunity in this direction? And I just kind of like knew that it's what I was going to do. I didn't know anything about flooring or anything about like running a small business, but I had a lot of like sales experience and customer service experience, and I'd worked with small businesses working at like the business desk for Apple. And so I had familiarity in the areas, and then I've just always been so organized and like, I don't know, I got like a clipboard at the dollar store when I was a kid and like would make my own little forms to like fill out like for fun. And so the like administrative side was always something that I was just good at and just made sense to me, and he does not like that kind of thing. He'll do it, but he would rather be outside. And so I got to the point where I was like, I think that I could come and help you. And like, if I came and did the stuff that you don't love doing, you can do more of what you love. I'll do some, like, what you don't like, I like. And so it just seemed like a really good fit. I just had to like decide to make the leap.
Yeah.
So.
So after you did start, what was the hardest, like, what was something that was hard that you didn't even consider?
Sure. I think that like the first thing that I realized was that I think one of the first things that I struggled with was realizing that I had to make my own decisions about when to be off work. Because there's like normal working hours, but I was like working on Saturdays, and working like into the night. I would get like client communications and different things, and so I felt like I was always working. And so it was great that like I had this freedom and I could do other things like while I was getting those phone calls like at night or on the weekends or whatever. But my dad checked in with me, I think it was like November or January. I started in August, and he was like, hey, how's it going? Like, what are you thinking? Like, are you enjoying it? And I was like, it's great, but like the biggest adjustment is that I never feel like I'm off work. And he was like, oh, we should figure that out, because you definitely should feel like, he was immediately like, oh, no. That is not what I was trying to do. Which I really appreciate. And so slowly but surely I started to implement like different kind of mental like times off for myself, and like didn't volunteer as many, like there's a lot that like now I work probably 3 Saturdays a year, just out of like pure necessity. But at the time I was like so excited to have this job, and to like, it opened up this whole new world for me. And so the Saturdays, like I was excited to be working, but it was wearing me out. And so I was grateful that he asked that question, and that I could like tackle that quickly. And I have like filters on my phone that like after a certain time I don't get certain notifications, or started letting clients know like, hey, you have my personal phone number, but we operate during business hours. If you could please communicate during that time, like unless it's an emergency. So I started to kind of learn like what was that was the other thing. I knew nothing about this industry or how it worked. And so learning what is an emergency and what isn't, because at the time any problem felt like an emergency. And there were so many things that I was like, wait, everything, like, that seemed horrible, but like everything's okay. We're all good. So that was another thing of just like getting a feel for how, because I'd only worked retail or like at gyms or food, and like an emergency at a food place is just so different.
It's like an inconvenience.
In construction, I'm like, no, this is like the world is ending, and my dad would be like, I mean, it's not great, but it's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
You're like, okay, perfect.
So had to get like the feel for that, for sure.
Let's see. What did you have to take like any type of pay cut or anything like that?
I did
Taking it?
initially.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have like a true, I kind of had a job description, but like it evolved so much over the time. And so it really was just like, hey, I mean, my dad was running the business by himself. There wasn't like, we subcontract all of our work. And so
Yeah.
but I knew what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pay cut was like, I was like, I know long term that this is gonna like even out or even exceed. And so, and thankfully, like I was in a position where I could do that.
Yeah.
And it not like be the end of the world.
Yeah.
So it very quickly like
Leveled out.
leveled out, and then is in a, in a much better spot.
Well, plus just to like trade just to have freedom. Like,
yes, no, that was worth it. And I was like, I know that this is going in a good direction, and we'll get there when we get there. And if I need to make adjustments, I can make adjustments. And so it was worth doing 1,000%.
Yeah.
I don't even remember like it being that. I'm sure it was challenging, but like at this point, I don't really remember.
Yeah, you're like, nothing stood out, so it wasn't dire.
Right. It was okay. Yeah. It was okay.
Did you have anyone that doubted you doing this move?
I did, but I didn't know until after.
Really?
My grandpa actually was like, man, Skyler, just wasn't sure. Which I thought was so funny that he would like tell me that. But, I think it's a risk to like get involved in a small business. You just don't, it's not the same security as like working for a big company.
Yeah.
There's so much more freedom. There's all these other benefits. And I totally understand some people just like don't have the stomach for it, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because there are things that I'm like, man, it would be nice to like this or that about like a different kind of company. And so I think he was the only person that like told me that he just like wasn't too sure. But I was in a conversation where I was telling him like how well it was going and how happy I was, and he was like, "I'm so happy for you. I just wasn't sure."
Yeah.
Like that's so.
He's like,
that's so real, because it's like such you don't know until you get into it like how it's gonna go.
That's
what's
true.
Gonna happen.
Okay, if you could, or what scared you the most about starting?
Oh man, that's such a good question. I think it was just like making the decision, and making the change. Sometimes I'm afraid to like make the wrong decision, and it seemed like such a big one. And so like, even though I knew that like it's what I wanted to do, and it was like I was so sure about it until I started listening to like the fear and the doubt that was coming about it, and was like, man, I don't know. What if like, I don't know that I was that concerned about the pay cut, but like it was a factor. And then I had worked at Apple for almost 5 years, and it was the longest place I'd ever worked, and it was kind of all I knew. Like I learned so much there, and I grew so much there. Like I started when I was 19. It was my first like real job, and so even though like I was ready to leave, I think it was more like just the change. Like my entire life changed, and at first I wasn't really sure like how to deal with that, even though it was a positive change, because my schedule, like retail, as you know, is like so all consuming.
Yes.
Physically, you're on your feet all day, and then you're talking to person after person after person after person, and if there's issues and if there's things, and then just being inside all day, like I would come home and have nothing left for anything else in my life. And so like obviously that's not sustainable, and I knew that, and I was ready to go, but I also like that's what I knew. And so just making a change and then just like making the decision, I think were the harder things. And then it was like, and my dad and I talked about this very openly, but like working together like as with a family, like there's more risk in just like things not working well in your relationship with your, like if it doesn't work well with your family, and it's not going to work well with work, like the intertwining of that was a bit of a risk as well for both of us. Like, hey, we want to keep our relationship, but we also have a job to like that whole,
but we're also now going to have a working relationship. We're going to have a job,
like how do you, and so he was asking people for advice that he knew that like we're in that same boat, and someone told him, because he was like, how do you separate it? And the guy was like, you don't. There's just not a way to. And so we have figured that out really well over the years, which has been great to like continue to have good communication on, just to have good communication on both sides, and be able to like, and sometimes we'll say like, hey, I'm calling you as your daughter right now, or hey, I'm calling you as like, this is a work related thing. We'll kind of give each other like a disclaimer.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a lot.
Well, good. Yeah. That seems like a healthy way to keep both relationships in good standing.
You just have to like acknowledge the things and talk about them. And just work through it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. What was your experience doing your first like event or
first floor?
Yes. I didn't know what you referred to them as. Meeting or
gotcha. Or like estimate?
Yes, you mean? Your first estimate. Okay. What was that like?
Where did I go? So I shadowed my dad for a while. Like I would have a day off, and so I would just ride with him for the day. And so I don't know that I remember the first floor that I went to with him, but I do remember the first one I went by myself, because he had like semi-trained me, but I don't even know. I'm trying to think now if we had been to one together or not. But there was a day I had like started to get involved, and there was a day that he had something like his back like gave out, and so he was like, I have an estimate to give and I cannot go, but you could probably go. And I knew nothing. Like I took so many notes. I need to look back and see if I still have all the notes that I took of like, because there's so much that you need to like it's not just like measure the floor. It's like, are there baseboards? Do you need to pull them off? Are there any doors to cut? What kind of floor is it? And I knew nothing. But he was like, yeah, just figure it out. And I don't even know that he told the client that like it was my first one.
Oh, good.
I'm not sure. I just like, I'm going to this house. Sweetest people. And I just went, and I don't know if I had a tape measure, or if, I can't remember if he gave me one or not. It didn't occur to me to measure. He must have given me one. Because I put my laser on the floor and took a picture of it so that we could find out the measurement of like the width of the board, which is not out. I was like, I'm sure I had a tape measure and could have measured it that way. Or maybe I didn't, and that was the best that I could do. But he was like, well, we're going to need like the actual measurement for the board, for the width. But now I have learned that a lot of them you can eyeball based off of the picture, and so I'm pretty sure he knew which one it was just looking at the picture.
He's trying to give you a hard time.
Yeah, he's like, so that's not how we're going to be able to do that and move forward. Yeah. But so I was probably there forever, just making sure that I got like every single detail that I could possibly think of.
Yeah, you're like, don't mind me, I'm actually going to look at every room in the house.
I'm going to get all the details. Yeah. And then they were so nice, because people find out that you're like the daughter of like the business owner, and for some reason like they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever, you're like the best, for just like immediately out of the gate with no questions. They're just like, oh, that's so sweet. So she was really, really nice.
Well, good. Yeah. What is the craziest event that you've had so far?
Oh man, there's so many. I'm trying to think of a good one. Okay, one that's good is that we went to, man, I know I have a better one than that though. Give me a second. Okay, so we were at this project that we did. We were there for a really long time. Like stuff kept happening at this house. It was kind of a sad situation. And so just if there were like anything that could happen to the house or to the floor, like was happening, and it wasn't like we weren't doing anything to our own work, but like just things kept going on. And so, one of the craziest phone calls that I've ever got, I don't know if it was a phone call or a text, but the communication that I received that was pretty crazy was, hey Skyler, so the floor caught on fire.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay. That's fun. So I'm picturing like an entire room like in flames. Thankfully that was not the case. It was like one contained spot. But the painters left used rags on the floor, and it got hot enough that they like self-ignite, or maybe they were just close together, but self-ignited and caught on fire. And I don't remember if we had already like sanded and we ended up sanding and finishing that floor twice throughout the project, just based on everything that happened there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we had already sanded it or not. But we definitely had to tear out like a good chunk, and that was my first experience with like fire damage with the wood floors. So there was a topical area that was like very clearly charred. Then I was like, I don't know what we're gonna find under it.
Yeah.
Like it was a crawl space, and so there was stuff underneath it, but I was like, I don't know what the subfloor is gonna look like, and we ended up having to take out, I feel like a lot of the room had to be removed.
Yeah.
And I think they had sanded and finished it already, and that was a contributing factor to the decision to like go ahead and redo it all again. But I can't remember exactly.
Okay. If you could go back, would you have done everything the same in the same process starting this job?
That's such a good question. A lot of it, yes. Like now that I'm here. Yeah, I think so.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're a good decision maker then.
Thank you.
Okay. What did... I know we already kind of already covered it, but what did your day to weekish schedule look like when you were starting?
So it was like pretty early in, like I would get to my parents' house because I would ride with my dad for the day when I first started because I didn't know how to do anything by myself. And so I would get to his house like between probably 8 and 9 in the morning. And then we would go like there were a lot of days where like we'd get back to his house at like 2 or 3, and I was like, oh wow, this is crazy. But like the day's already over at this time. But like there's a lot that you can do within those hours, and then kind of I didn't have more to do as I was learning, but like he was probably still answering phone calls and like still doing stuff. But like the let's check on all the jobs happened kind of within those hours, and then there were days that it would be longer. But it was during the week, and then typically if I was doing something on a Saturday, it was almost more of like, hey, there's an emergency, or hey, there's an emergency. But different types of things. I don't remember exactly. I mean, it's been long enough that I don't remember all the things that I was doing on those days. So here and there, I think, like Saturdays, but then during, like, it's Monday through Friday, morning to like afternoon or evening.
Yeah.
So.
Was there anything that you kind of came across or saw starting out that changed your perspective on your dad from seeing him from a business point of view?
Sure. Yeah. I didn't know very much about what he did before I started like riding with him. And so I knew that he started his business, and I just didn't really have a concept for like how big of a deal that was at the time when he did it. And so getting to actually see it, and what I did see was how happy he was, because he worked these other jobs, and they just weren't like, they were a good fit until they weren't, for the most part. But he stuck it out in some situations just because I'm the oldest of 8 kids. Like, there's a million people to feed, and so the big shift that I did see was like, okay, now my dad's like really, really happy. He's having a great time. He loves his job, and like that's such an awesome thing to see. But the logistics of like what it takes to actually run the day-to-day operations of the business, I had absolutely no idea. And so that was cool to like. I realized like, wow, this is like, you like did a whole thing. Like, this is really cool.
It's like a real deal.
Right. Like, like you really did this. But I had no concept of that before.
Yeah.
So.
How many hours would you say, because you didn't start whenever he started it.
Right.
So how many hours was he working that you could see whenever he started?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Just like a lot.
I don't even know if it was a lot, because like he was doing it on the side with his with his day job for a while,
Mm-hmm.
And so those days were long days. Like he would go to his day job and then probably have to be answering the phone like throughout the day, and then he would go check on floors like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's a really long day. But his actual, I didn't live at home when he was doing it, so I don't know like what those days look like, but a lot of it was like getting things going. And so it was going to meet people and hey, I don't have any clients, so like let's go find clients and doing that kind of
knock
thing.
on some doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was doing a lot of that stuff, and I honestly don't know like how much. I'll have to ask him that because I'm curious now.
Yeah.
But
okay, so what did you feel at all, and if you did, what was it? Did you feel like you were sacrificing anything during that starting time?
Oh, that's a good question. I was really sacrificing a lot of my comfort. Like I knew what I was doing at my previous job, and I had gotten like different positions or promotions within that, like within Apple, where like one day you know exactly what you're doing and then you get a promotion or a different position and you're like starting from square one again, and like that's kind of disorienting. So I'd already experienced that, but to experience it in a like completely different industry, to go from like I worked at Apple for such a long time, like I knew how to do everything there and I knew what I was doing every day, and like there's a lot of just confidence that comes from that. And so going into something where like I don't know anything and everybody around me really knows what they're doing, was definitely uncomfortable. But that has obviously gotten better like over time. But I think that was a big like I don't have the same job confidence that I used to have, and that's a really nice thing to have.
Yeah, so, no, it is for sure.
Feels great when you're like when you know what you're doing.
Yes. In the beginning, during those times, did you feel like you were making progress quickly, or did you feel like you were getting stuck?
Oh, that's such a good question. I am pretty hard on myself, and so I probably thought I was doing worse than I was. And I had no idea. Like I'm almost 5 years in, and there's still things that I don't know, and still things that I'm learning. And at this point, I'm pretty okay with that. Like, there's just always going to be more to know. And I think what has helped with that is that the people around me are also all still learning. I don't know that I've met anybody that, even if they've been doing things for a really long time, we're all still learning. And so that has been really helpful and freeing to know that, like, everyone's in that boat of we're all like, yes, put in the effort and the time to learn and master what you're doing and what you're talking about, but at the same time there's going to be new situations even for people who have been doing this forever. And so I think that was really really helpful.
That, and just like with growing up, you just realize that no one really knows what we're doing. There's no guidebook to anything.
No, like, I think I used to think that, like, you would get to a certain point of adulthood and you would just, like, have it all figured out.
It would just come to you. You'd unlock
that
the
hasn't
rest.
happened yet. And from what I talk to other adults that are older than me, I'm like, no, you don't. Like, that was an illusion. Like, that's not real.
Alive. It's alive.
Nobody's walking around like, oh, yeah, I know everything about everything. Like, no, you're just doing your best.
So literally. Okay. What was the hardest part of what has been your hardest part so far since you're 5 years in?
Okay, that's a really good question. Excuse me.
You're okay.
There's several things. So I'll try to think of like the best one to share. I think realizing that this was the other thing that I used to think, is that you could get the perfect job. That like the perfect situation exists, and where you would have no problems and you would just be happy with what you were doing every single day. And I thought that this job was going to be that. Because I started when I was 24, I think. So still pretty young. And was I 24? And so just thought like, and I was so ready to be done with the job that I was at. And so it was like, this is going to be the perfect job. This is going to be amazing. And it's amazing. And it's the perfect job for me. There are so many hard things about it. There are so many challenges. And so having to like come to terms with the fact that there are hard things with anything that you're going to do. I don't think anybody loves every single aspect of their job. And I think it's more about like loving most of it enough that the parts that you
it
don't
outweighs
love,
the
like
rest,
that
yes.
it like overshadow, like you're like, okay, this part sucks, but like most of this is awesome, so like let's go. And so there are things that like technical things that I struggle with, or just like there's some high stakes with some of the stuff that we do, and it's like a lot of money is at stake, and just getting it right for the homeowner, getting it right for the sake of like our business reputation. Like there's different pressure when it's a small business versus working for Apple. Like that was such a big, are we even allowed to say Apple?
I think so.
Okay.
I asked.
Okay.
As long as we're not like talking badly about it.
Okay.
And we're not employed anymore.
Okay.
So I think we're.
Okay. And so I think that like just working for a huge corporation, like the stakes are just lower, generally. I felt like they were lower.
Yeah.
If I made a mistake or if I didn't know something or something went
There's
wrong.
just a bigger margin.
Yes.
For error.
For a $1 trillion company.
Yes. Yeah.
Compared to like a mom and pop situation.
Exactly.
And then I like I directly know the people that like that impacts. Like it's my family.
Yeah.
And so I have learned I've progressed a lot, but I still work on and still look at like do a good job, but like I don't need to freak out about everything. Like I don't need to panic. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned that I've just started to say, because it keeps happening, is that like everything works out.
Yeah.
Like even the situations that I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna fix this, I don't know how we're gonna get through this, I don't know what's gonna happen. I've just started, they all work out. I haven't come across anything that I haven't been able to figure out or hasn't worked out. And so I remind myself of that as much as I can. Almost like even more so when something goes wrong, where I'm like, all right, can't wait to see how this works out. It's going to be great, because it is going to work out.
Yeah.
And so I think it's been, and that's like just like a life thing. Like that's not necessarily specific to my job. But like not giving in to the fear, or even the recurring fear of like, oh, you didn't make the right call last time, so like what's going to happen this time? And that I don't make the wrong call a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes stuff just sometimes things just happen. So trying to like, I guess being like okay with mistakes.
Yeah.
And just getting up and trying again tomorrow. Is like not something I don't love learning that, but
no, it's
or
not
experiencing
fun.
it. Like it's not great,
Yeah.
but like literally everyone is going through that all the time, whether in their job or like personally. And so just like knowing that that's going to happen and just being okay with it.
Yeah. Everyone that cares about their own success is their own personal
for sure.
critic.
For sure.
Trust.
Yeah.
Because I have said some very mean things to myself. So I definitely understand what that's like.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever feel burned out?
Yes. For sure. I don't know. I'll try to think if I have like specific examples, but one time that I kind of noticed. You need to do something.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
One time that I like noticed that I was getting frustrated with my clients like way more than I should be. And I wasn't always like expressing that or showing that, but sometimes I was, and not in like a really aggressive way, but more in like a passive aggressive way. And I was like, okay, I keep like missing it with people and the people that we're serving. And like, I've got to do something about that. And not let myself get to the point where I'm like these are people that are trusting me with their they like picked my business, like our business, to do this work. And so obviously like I need to treat everyone well, but like especially like I need to have that in my mind that like this person chose us and this is such a big deal. And I just was getting really, really frustrated. And I was telling one of my friends about it. She also has a small business. I need to introduce you to her too. But
absolutely, that way.
She has a small business, and I think I was telling her just some of my struggles. I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be struggling with this. Like, I want to be kind to people, but I'm just so frustrated, and I'm so I think I was just tired and I didn't have the right perspective on helping people. Like when you're serving people, because yes, we're making money, but like we're a service industry, and so you're pouring a lot out, and that's a good thing to do. But if you're not thinking about that right, then you might not be treating people or yourself correctly in those situations. And so she suggested a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. And it's by this like chef guy who, or I don't know that he was actually a chef, but he owned restaurants, and he took his restaurant from like, he was on like the 50 best restaurants list, and he was the 50th, and he tells the story of how they went from 50 to 1, and then he gives like his backstory of like how he did everything he did. I think you would like it. But I listened to it while I would drive, and it was he just talked about hospitality versus service, and like what the difference was, and like how to care for people. And then he also acknowledged, which I really, really appreciated, he acknowledged the things about serving that are hard. And he had so much empathy for like, yes, when someone says that this is, you know, when someone says that something is something that it's not, or hold on. He just acknowledged the frustrations of like, specifically if you have no, I'm not gonna say that either. Sorry.
No, you're okay, girl. You find your thing.
So he just acknowledged like, yes, it's hard when someone says something is one way and you know it's not that way, but like they're the customer and like they're not necessarily always right, but does it matter if they're right? Was like one of his like points. Do you need to correct everything all the time, or can you just like let people be? Can you serve them and not be so rigid, and can you have fun? And so he kind of introduced these ways of fun into their business, that I started to do some of those things of just like bringing a client like some donuts because they said something the day before about wanting donuts or something like that, and just like almost making a game, but it coming from a genuine place of like, how can I connect with you and like have a good time and get to know you? Like, you're trusting me with something big in your house. That's a big deal. And so, how can I just connect with you best? And I had learned that at Apple, because they have all these metrics that you're supposed to hit and all these things that you need to talk to someone about in your interaction. And I would like freak out about that. And my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, but my husband now, was like, Skyler, just connect with the person. Like, just focus on the person, and like all of that other stuff will come. And I was like, no, it doesn't. It's not going to come. You're wrong.
You're incorrect. I hate it.
You're not right. But we have all these things we have to get, and if I don't talk about them, I'm going to fail. And he's like, just try it. And so I started to like focus on the person more, and then I got all the metrics. And so I've been able to like, I've done that with this, and I'm just having so much more fun. Just like focusing on the connection. The problems are going to be there. The things are going to happen. The frustrating moments are going to be there. But if I can keep my eye on the fact that, like, I'm here to serve you, you're a valuable human, and, like, how can we connect? Like, I literally made like, one of my clients that we just finished recently, she, like, wants to keep in touch and, like, get coffee sometimes. And, like, keep things and I was like, that's amazing. That's so awesome.
And that was we're going to keep in touch.
Oh, for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
ma'am.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, good. I do probably need to read that book. I would have an issue with the but doesn't matter.
Right.
That's a hard one.
Well, and what I liked about it is that he was so, you read like a book where you're trying to like improve yourself, like a self-improvement or something like that type of book.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them, well, not that I don't read any of them, but I don't like things that like, okay, I did that and now I feel like I have all this extra work that I have to do based on what I read. I didn't do anything different. I don't feel like I did anything differently. He just had me thinking differently. And so then my actions reflected like how I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which was like such a nice and like easy way to make an adjustment. I didn't feel like it was like work to make the changes that I needed to make.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Also, if you ever want me to answer something differently, just tell me.
No, girl. These are your answers.
I know, but like if you're like, that's too long, try again.
Oh, no.
Just tell me.
Yeah. Well, They're supposed to be long. It's supposed to be.
I figure I give you
answers.
more information than less.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what we're going for. And then it helps me also be able to go deeper into
Sure,
the questions
into the
if I
yeah.
need to.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, okay. Did you have any relationships that changed besides you and your dad's? Obviously,
Sure.
you had to have a work relationship, but other than that, did you have any relationships change during that process for you?
That's a good question. I think like I was around my family a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what was I? I don't know. It's been so long. Yeah, I was around my family a lot more. Because I would go. We don't have like an office space. We just work out of either our homes or out of our trucks, or we're just like out on the road all day. And so, the meeting spot has been like my parents' house, and so I just ended up seeing my siblings a lot more.
Yeah.
And seeing my mom more, which is great. And just like show up at the house all the
Perfect.
time.
Just
See
strengthen
everybody.
those relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Did you ever question if the change was worth it?
Yes, for sure.
What? Okay. What was your lowest? Obviously, not pertaining to that. What
Sure.
was your lowest moment in this business?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, I don't know that I can like point to a specific moment, but I know that there's been like seasons and kind of phases of growth that I've had in some of the more challenging areas of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to really and I've kind of talked about this already, but like any mistakes or like missteps, or if like a client was upset with us, even if it wasn't something that we directly caused to happen, that would affect me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm trying to think of like how I've gotten over that, but I think I've just gotten more comfortable with myself and just more confident in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I just take things seriously, but I don't go to like as many extremes as I used to with things. And so it's easier for me now to have a situation like that going on and it not like ruin my life.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think before I was like up at night wondering about like how is this going to work out or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I have like necessarily specific examples of like an exact like low
Mm-hmm.
point, but I know that it was just harder to do what I do.
Yeah.
When everything that would go wrong, or even just not wrong, but like just not according to plan, was happening. It was just hard for me to exist in my other, like having separation between like, okay, the work is over for the day and I'm a whole person outside of my job, and I have a husband and I have friends and I have all these things, and so like I need to set that down because it's time to set that down for the day.
Yeah.
And like step into being like, I can't like rehash my whole day or any problems that happened with the day like all into the night and have it just like wear me out even more.
Yeah.
So kind of figuring out how to do that. But I think before figuring out how to have just like healthier mental space with the job, was definitely, I just made it harder I was making it harder for myself.
Yeah.
Like just staying stuck in this loop of like, what's going to happen? I don't know. There's all these things going on. So now that I've gotten better at that, it's a lot easier.
Would you say that came from the job change or from getting older?
That's a good question. I think the job, because I have so much ownership over what I do every day and like how things run, I think that it's something that I got to work on and address. And my dad is so great because we like personality wise, we even each other out so well because he's just relaxed. Like he's like he takes things like, we take things seriously, but most of his advice is like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work out. Like, it's not that serious. Calm down. And so to have him be so much that way as my boss and as my dad, it helps me to be like, okay, we're like, we can chill. Yes, it's relaxed. We're good. All is well. And so, I think like getting to work for someone that's like that, has definitely made a big difference in how I operate and how I look at things. But then, I do think getting older too, like I have a different perspective on life. Even I think about this a lot, like even 5 years ago, like how I did the job and what I thought about the job and what I thought about myself within the job has changed so much as I've gotten like more experience and more comfortable with things.
Okay. Is there anything that you experienced in the beginning of this position that still affects you now?
That's a good question. Like, do you have an example of what you're...
So it could be that, like, say you, wow, it's my first day doing wood stuff. So say that you, like, order the wrong stuff.
Okay.
And then you...
Oh, kind of like the David story.
Yeah, and there's, like, a big, like, backlash from that.
Sure.
And then going forward,
like
you,
how I
like,
adjusted that?
Yes.
Sure.
A little touchy about something or anything like that.
I think for, like, stuff like that, it's always changing. There are things that there's a lot to have your attention on, and there's a lot to remember. And so I'll have different pockets of time where I'm like, shoot, I need to make sure that I'm still looking at that thing that I like. Like, for example, today we put stuff on like a shared calendar, and we assign, my dad and I have access to everything, and we assign our different subcontractors, like whatever work, like we'll invite them to the stuff that they're doing. Well, I forgot to invite one of them to one of the jobs.
Yeah.
And so it worked out, but I was like, shoot, I need to like double check and like I need to look at that again and make sure that I'm still always doing that. Because it does affect how they schedule and how I schedule. Like if they don't know where they're supposed, obviously if they don't know where they're supposed to be,
they ain't gonna show up.
And we had talked about it, and then I see it, but I didn't check to like make sure that he could see it. And so I'm like, okay, that's something I'm gonna like put my attention on.
Yeah.
But that kind of rotates. And it rotates for like what I need to make sure that the guys are doing, or versus what I need to make sure I'm doing. Things I need to like make sure I tell the client, or like different things. So it kind of seems to come like in different cycles of, okay, well, you've missed this a couple times, like make sure you're focusing on that for the next one or something like that.
Yeah.
So
did you ever have anything happen, like someone didn't show up or product didn't show up?
I did.
Okay,
I did. And this was one of the things that like helped me gauge like how serious things were.
Okay.
Because we were working for a builder that had 2 spec houses with the same, like builders they'll have their different specs they have like a name. And so I got sent, and we were doing a ton of work for them. They had all of these houses. And so I was getting sent the house name. If it was a custom, we had like the customer's name, but if it was a spec, it was the spec name and then an address. And so we're getting these, we're scheduling the things. Well, my dad and I are out, we're doing stuff, and I think I got an email that like was a bill for a job, and I was like, that's weird, because our supplier typically delivers and then they send us an invoice for like immediately for whatever it is that they just delivered. And so they sent me this invoice, and I'm looking at it, and I was riding with my dad that day, or maybe I was on my own and we ended up together, but I get this invoice, and I'm like, and so I called them and I was like, hey, we installed that floor last week, like what is this new wood? And he was like, well, we had this other address, Skyler, like for this other house. And I was like, okay, what the heck? And so I went through and I don't remember exactly how I found it, but there were 2 addresses for the same spec house name. And I'm sure I caught it at the beginning. I mean, I ordered material. So like at some point I knew that there were 2 houses.
Yeah.
Right. At some point I was aware that there were 2 houses. By the time that the second one came around, it had completely slipped my mind. And so all of this material is at this house, and I have no one scheduled. And I think we had like a lot of other things going on. And so I'm panicking.
Yeah.
and crying. I'm like, we're going to lose this builder. This is the end of the world. We're going to go out of business. It's going to be all my fault.
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah. So I'll just get my cardboard
I'm pretty
sign
sure
out
I was like a
now.
few months in. Like I was brand new. I could probably go back and find like exactly how like long I'd been doing it. Because it had to not be like very long. And so I'm freaking out. And my dad was like, I mean, like, it's not great that you forgot a whole floor.
Yeah.
But like, we'll figure it out. And so, and then I'm like, I'm such like okay, you have to tell someone when something goes wrong. And so I'm like, we have to tell them right now. And he was like, well, let's see if it works out first before we just go like, yelling that maybe we can find someone to do this. And so, we had like one of our crews was available and able to help. But then like the brick masons got there before us. And so they like have a hole set up. And so for the fireplace. And so we actually weren't able to start. So we were a couple days delayed. And again, I thought like, we're losing this account. We're losing our business. Like the world is over.
We're done. Wrap it up.
And
Everyone goodbye.
right. I was like, this is it. I'm going to get fired. This is horrible. And it like wasn't really a thing at all. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
But
it's a nightmare for
right.
me.
That was the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yes.
But
like the client never even knew.
yeah. And I think they eventually did know, like, hey, we're a couple days behind or something like that. But it's not like we're trying to keep things from people. But he was just like, if it does work out, like, let's not say anything before we know for sure that it's not going to. And it just, like, wasn't. I think we started on Saturday instead of Thursday.
Oh.
Which is, like, not a big deal.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
they
totally
didn't
fine.
even care.
Totally fine.
Okay. Were there any times that you doubted your ability to do the job? And in those times, did you tell anyone about your doubts?
Yes, all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect.
All the time.
Actually, every day, today.
Right. Literally every
tomorrow,
day, and I just talk my husband's ear off about it.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that, yeah, it was my first experience managing people. And so I had always, like, trained people and, like, taught them how to do their job well, but it was after I knew how to do it well. And so that is very different than managing people doing something that I've never done. Like, I have not set tile. I have not done hardwood flooring installation. Like, I've done some stuff here and there, but my main purpose was to help run the business, not do like the labor side of things. And so that was a really weird position to be in. And figuring out how to give feedback in that way of like,
confidently.
I've
too,
never done what you're doing, but I know you didn't do it right. And so I need you to fix it.
Yeah.
Or just different. And like, there's a lot of good feedback to give too. But trying to do that. And then I think also there's a lot of technical things with wood flooring. The temperature and the humidity in the room, like in the home or in the room that you're in, like has to be within a certain range to be ready to sand. And then the moisture content of the wood and the plywood need to be within a certain range of each other before you're ready to sand or before you're ready. Like there's all of these things to check. And that can get on top of me if I'm not careful to be like, okay, the world is not going to end. Let's just check it out. Let's see what happened. Like, it's all going to be okay. And so I literally recently asked my dad, I was like, is there like a class that I can take? Or like, is there something I can do to like make this part of my job easier? And he was like, you could teach that class, Skyler. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, you're just doubting yourself. And so, I talked to him, and then my husband is also really awesome. And so, as you know, but, he is really awesome. And he has a ton of management experience and a ton of like growing businesses or departments or different things like that experiences. And so really everything that I have come to him with of like, what do I do? Oh my gosh. He has experience in those areas, which is really awesome. Because he can either tell me like how he handled something or, one time I was about this same, like the moisture content or some of the different things, it just like doesn't click with my brain. And so like how it is supposed to work. And so, I was telling him about it. I was so upset. And I think it was over that, but he like pulled out, there's a manual for like, from the National Wood Flooring Association. There's like a governing body for wood flooring
perfect.
stuff. And it's this huge thick book. And, I was like so upset trying to figure out like what, this was a couple years ago. But he like pulled out the book and started reading it himself so that he could like see if he could understand it so that he could teach it to me. And I was like, that is like, I took a picture of him and was like, this is the most precious thing ever. So he like doesn't do the job. I know, it was so sweet. So he doesn't do the job, but he will like go with me to like pick up wood or like do different, like he's just, he helps me. He's always like, I'm gonna help you as much as I can. And that is like such a big deal.
Yeah,
it's really, really sweet.
That's nice if someone's supportive like that, to like actually be like, I will learn it to try to teach it to you.
Get in there with you.
Yeah, that's support.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then my dad is great about like, I kind of weigh, I've had to learn, because it's different like being a woman in some of the situations that I'm in. If I'm going somewhere like, I don't want to say that. What am I trying to say? Yeah, that's not the part that I want to say. So the I've evolved in weighing like, when do I just need to take care of this, or when do I actually need my dad and need the backup of the business owner in different situations that come up. And so I think at first, of course, I was like, okay, I need you for everything. You have to come help me with all the things. And over time, and probably more slowly than I should have, but maybe not. I don't know what he thinks about this, but would try to just take care of things myself. And like, okay, there's a conflict, but I know how to solve it. I know I know what to do. And so I'll take care of it. Or let's talk about it, but like I'll go to the appointment to figure out what's going on. And then there are times, so just knowing when to call and when not to, but like any time that I need him, he's like, yep, I will rearrange my schedule. I will be at. But even if it's just like emotional support, even if that's all I need.
Yeah.
We had a situation recently where I was like, I genuinely have no idea what like water was getting into the house from outside of the house. And like, that's not my, like, I can tell you your floor is wet, but I don't know.
It's outside of my wheelhouse, actually.
Right. That's going to be outside of my expertise.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't really know what's happening. And so I had a contractor friend of mine, come to assess, but then like the day before I was like, you know what? I want to bring my dad. So I was like, hey, can you come also and just like see, sometimes I just need him to see what I'm seeing. And he's like always so willing to do that, which is really sweet.
You're like, I need you to validate with your eyes
yes,
that we're seeing
to be here. And what's funny is that, so growing up, I would need help with my math homework and time again, and I would always want like him to just like sit with me. And he would help me with my math homework. 9 times out of 10, I just needed him to sit there so that it wasn't just like me against my math homework. It was like me and my dad against my math homework.
Yeah, you said we are a team.
It's like, he helped very little, but like having him sit there did wonders for me. So it's somewhat like that sometimes where I'm just like, I just need some backup. Yeah. And he's always willing to give it.
More support, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. When would you say things started to change for you pertaining to how comfortable you were in your position?
That's a really good question. I think I'm the most well, I mean, I think this is probably obvious. I've been the most comfortable for probably the last year-ish. And there's been varying degrees of increased, like, comfort. I think it took longer than I thought it was going to at the beginning, though. And I don't remember exactly when I was like, okay, like I've got more of it. But I think that it was a year or maybe more than a year before I really started to like, and I don't remember exactly. But I think it took longer than other jobs because it wasn't just a different position in the same business. It was like an entirely different world. And so it took a little bit more time. And then I had to also I had to acknowledge the areas, and we kind of talked about this, where I was being harder on myself than what was reality. Like, no, you are good at this. You just don't think you are, so you need to think better. But I would say in the last year, especially after reading that or listening to that book and just kind of changing how I think about what I do and how I help people, I'm like the happiest I've ever been.
Good. So, good. Okay. Let's see. What were some things, well, I don't really like the way that I'm going to phrase that. What were things that you were doing before you started this job that you had to stop to be able to do this job?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Like, for example, to do this job,
Yes.
I had to stop doom scrolling on TikTok.
Sure.
And I had to stop sitting here and watching TV
Right.
all night. And I had
Yes.
to stop rotting on that couch.
Sure. Yeah. I think I definitely like physically had to get into better shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'd had some like challenges and was at like a higher weight than I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like way more obvious to me when I first started
Mhm.
because I was outside all day.
Mm-hmm.
Or not outside, but just like,
On your feet,
I don't know,
moving.
you're running around
Yeah.
and like it's physically demanding. I ended up needing to have like, I was in like, part of it was I had problems with my ankle and like pain and a couple of surgeries. And
Mhm.
so I ended up needing to have one more
Mm-hmm.
about a year after I started. And so once it didn't hurt to move, that made a lot of difference. But I definitely was like, okay, I need to like, and it took me a while to, because I was in so much pain, it was hard to like, I was like, I need to get in better shape, but I don't know how because I'm in so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
But have gotten to like a much better spot with all of that. But like physically, yeah, just having to be, just have healthier habits. I
Yeah.
didn't do all of them like right away, but
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have more now than I used to. Like
Yeah.
trying to implement moving because they're long days and they're like mentally draining and that can physically wear you out.
Mm-hmm.
And so finding reasons to move anyway.
Yeah.
And like go for a walk anyway,
Mhm.
but like know when you need to rest, but also push like just the balance of doing all those things. Because working retail, I just kind of, and for the stuff I was going through with my ankle, just stopped prioritizing all, like I couldn't do anything
Mhm.
but do my job. And so I think that was a big shift.
Yeah.
Was like,
Just being more aware and
and like starting to make those changes.
yeah.
And being in an environment where like I could because I have
You have freedom.
Right, I have
Yeah.
the freedom.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
Let's see. We kind of already did this one. So would you say that everything that you had to implement whenever you first started, was it more of a mindset shift or a strategy shift?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's been a lot of both.
Yeah. How so?
I think at first it was more, I don't know that it was more strategy, but I did like, and this was working for him, so it's not a bad thing, and a lot of people do this, but my dad was running everything off of like paper and memory and like all of his scheduling. And so I had coming from Apple, I was like, well, I can coming from Apple, I was like, oh, well, we can use, I was like immediately implemented using the calendar, like a shared calendar instead of, because we were sending addresses, like the guys would ask me every day, like, okay, so where are we going tomorrow? And I was like, this is crazy. This is so much of my time is sending addresses and gate codes and here's what time we're going to start and all of these things. And so
I'm a coordinator right now.
right. And so I'm such a like systems person that I was like, there's just gotta be a better way to do this that just takes up less of our time. And so the shared calendar was like such an easy fix for that. Because we can put the address in there and then we can put the gate codes like in the notes and any like special instructions I put in the notes. And so I just had to like train the guys to actually use that and look at it, which did take some time because it was a big shift from how things had been done. But now they use that for like, we have subcontractors so they get their own work too, but like one of them uses it for his own stuff as well. Like his entire, like his whole thing is run off of that now too, just like ours is. And so it's just so much easier to see what you have. Like I was doing it for myself at first because I was like, this is how I visualize like where we're supposed to be. And then eventually I was like, no, this is where, I don't even think I asked. It was just like, this is what we're doing now because I'm not doing it.
So welcome to the new schedule, babe.
Right. Welcome to, this is what you hired me for, so this is what I'm doing. But then I think over time, a lot of, and I kind of always am evaluating our systems. We'll have times where things kind of slow down, and so that's always kind of something that I go to is, okay, what could we shift that would have made that really busy season run more smoothly? Like, what did we keep knocking our heads into? And at one of the answers, one of those times was the other thing that we deal with is how do we get into your house? We need to get into all these houses all the time, every single day. And so we would kind of passively offer setting up a key box for people, but we didn't really like strongly recommend it or really even talk, like we would do gate codes, or we would like, people would be leaving work and trying to meet us at their house to like let us into their house at specific times. And everybody has different comfort levels with letting like
a random
work
person
into your home. And so I am very like, hey, if you're more comfortable with this version, great, but just know that we need to be here at random times throughout the process, and we can't always let you know exactly when we're going to be there for different things, at least not until we're like on the way. Because there's a lot of moving pieces with other projects throughout the day. And so, but the answer was, well, let's just put key boxes on more houses and let's talk about it more so that we can more easily access. And I like can't even believe that we weren't doing that this whole time. Like I just have a stash of them. And I bring it up usually in the estimate phase, and I present it because it is easier for the homeowner too. And like, if you're comfortable with it, we'll put a key box in the house. That way we can all access things when we need to. And that just goes so much more smoothly. So I'm kind of always looking at what things like that can we implement to make it easier for everybody. And then mindset shifts, like, I think the biggest one obviously was like reading that book and just thinking about serving people in a different way.
What processes do you guys have now besides those two that you didn't have an effect when you started? Or any other ones?
Another thing that I did pretty early on was the flooring process is not familiar to a lot of people. If you haven't been through it, there's like 15 million details that are going to happen in your house that you might not know about if you haven't had it happen before. And so, to better set expectations for people, which I learned a lot of that from Apple, like set your expectations really well.
Set them early.
And then also just to like minimize, I was getting a lot of the same questions asked, and I was like, if we had like a guide for people, they would feel more comfortable with what's happening, and they would know I was also noticing people were texting me or calling me about things that to them, because they didn't know that it was normal, to them it was like, this is a problem that this is happening. And I was like, oh, actually that's like a super normal thing, and it's okay, and we're like all over it. But if you didn't know that, then of course it looks like a problem, or it looks like something wrong. And so I wrote a document of like, here's what to expect. And I broke it down like start to finish. Here's what we're going to need access to. Here's what furniture you need to move. Here's what like outlet we need from your laundry room. We need access to your house like throughout the day. That was something that not everybody knew. Like, hey, we're going to be working all day, and so we're going to need to be able to stay here for the day. Because some people weren't comfortable leaving us. Not because of us typically, but just because of previous, I don't know for sure, but a lot of people have bad experiences with contractors, so like totally get it. But at the same time, we need to be able to have like a full day of work for everybody. And so I attached that document, and I still do, to our estimates so that people know, like, and I talk about it when I go and give them, like when I go and measure their floor and talk to them for the first time, I bring it up a lot of times, like, hey, I'm going to attach this document so you can read it and see, like, here's what, I'm going to go over a lot of things today. We're going to talk about it in person, but there's going to be something written as well for you to reference. And I do think it's helping people understand like what to expect a lot better.
Because I wouldn't know the first thing to expect when getting new
there's
floors.
so many things.
As you can see, I never got it.
There's so many things to think about. And then I also did recently like text shortcuts for common questions. We have one of the biggest questions that I was getting asked was, when can I be back on my floor? When can I get back on my floor? When can my furniture come back on my floor? When can my fridge get moved back in? When, and that's a super...
When can the dogs touch
Right.
it?
Everybody wants to, and like super fair. You don't want to, you spent all this money to get this beautiful like luxury product and you don't want to ruin it. And so I made a like keyboard shortcut of here's a guideline. And even within that guideline, because there's like different hour and day like increments for different things. And then even within that, I was like, hey, because I was like, if I put this too much in stone, the people whose brains work very black and white are not going to deviate from this at all, even if they need to, or they're going to ask, like, I don't want anyone to feel boxed in. And so I even said in there, I was like, this is what we recommend, but like, if you need to do something differently because of your project or your situation, like, please feel free. This is just what we typically recommend, but if your circumstances require you to do something different, like, it's okay. And I think that has helped people a lot as well, and it's helped me because I was having to think and like count and do all the math and think through like, okay, wait, so how many days, because we're going to finish this day, but then this, and so it was taking a lot more, so now like it's less work for me each time that I get asked. And then people are prepared because they know exactly. And then I don't forget anything either. Like, it's all
already in there. No
it's all there. So.
Yeah, my brain is very black and white, so I appreciate you doing that for people because
Yes.
I would read it and I'd be like, that's the law.
Can't deviate.
Yep, that is it.
For sure. Which, like, super fair. So.
Because, like, we're not the professionals. Y'all are the professionals.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You tell me not to do
I'm the right
it.
person to ask.
Yeah.
But also, like, you do what you got to do sometimes, and that's totally fine.
What is the most valuable skill you have learned from this whole experience?
Such a good question.
That you're like, if I would have never taken this job, I would have never learned this skill. This is going to benefit me for life. What would you say it would be?
That's a good question. I think it's like the people skills that I have learned. Because like I said, like my previous experience was more like I always had somebody else, and I still have my dad to call, but I always had somebody else to, like, if someone wants to talk to the manager, like I could call the manager. And then I was out. And so I wasn't learning how to push through those conflicts and those like tough moments with people. A lot of the, like, sometimes you get to stay in it and they don't ask for a manager, but I think learning how to, and I probably could have learned this other places, but like I'm glad that I've learned it in the way that I have here and like with my dad. But learning how, I think learning that like conflicts are going to happen and things are going to come up, and it's really about how you handle, like when they happen, how do you handle it? How do you take care of people? How do you show them that like you're in it with them? And I think that, and then also on like the leading our like teams, trying to find like everyone is different, and so learning how I talk to you might not work for how I want to talk to you, so I gotta like adapt and kind of adjust. And as challenging as being in that position has been compared to like not having to think about any of that, I'm grateful that I've like gotten to learn that and gotten to experience that. So that's been really cool.
Yeah. I will say the people skills that I have learned from Apple as well were
for sure. It's so helpful.
Very people skills in general. In general. I don't know why that lost in my head.
Sure.
Those are very valuable skills because at the end of the day, no matter what business you do, your clientele is people, period. 100%. So 100%. If you know how to talk to them, it'll help you out.
Yes.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Let's see. Where do you think that you would be today if you didn't take this position?
That's so crazy. The other thing I was considering before I took this job was going to TU they have an energy management program. And I don't know how, I think I like kind of stumbled across it and thought like that's obviously like a profitable field to get into. TU is a great school. And so I could do that. And I don't know if I would have, like, I don't know if I would have liked it or stuck it out. But that was like the other thing I was considering doing. But I would have had, part of the reason that I decided not to do it was that I thought that I was going to get more scholarships or like financial aid, more scholarships. I thought it was going to cost way less than like once I actually went through all the steps to find out like, oh no, this is going to be like, I don't remember if it was, I thought it was going to be like 20 or less than 20,000, like when it was all said and done. And I think it was like 30 or 40. And I just like could not wrap my head around that number at the time. And was like, I don't know, man. And so if I had like continued with that, then I would have, like, that's the job I would probably have. And
you'd be stuck.
I would be stuck. And like, not that that's a bad, like, if that's the right fit for someone, like, that's awesome. It just wasn't. And I knew, like, it was hard to make that call as well. But I was like, no, this is, like, if I do this, I just knew, like, it was going to open up different things for me. And it actually, like, it already has. I got my real estate license within the last year. It was my dad's idea. He brought it to me a couple years ago, and I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, keep it stepping, man.
No,
I ain't being
sir,
a real
that
estate
sounds
agent.
horrible.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I was still learning so much, and I was still, like, not feeling amazing about where I was with my flooring job. And so I was like, I absolutely do not have the bandwidth for that.
Yeah.
Also, the only thing I know about realtors is that they're always on the clock.
Yeah.
And I'm already struggling with that.
Yeah.
I do not want to do that in this other, and I knew the test was really hard. Like, it's like, I've heard it's like the scariest test in the world. Obviously not more than like other, like the test to become a lawyer is probably way harder,
LSAT.
or the like to become a nurse or a doctor for sure. But in the realm of things that I would do, I was like, no, that's like that's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, it just like, I just was like, my like heart completely changed on it. And I was like, no, I like really, really want to do that. Like that sounds perfect. And so far it's been so perfect and so awesome. And the test was not scary.
Yeah.
There were 3 of them actually.
Oh.
They were fun. Like,
That's crazy. 3 tests.
Because you have to like take like a course completion test, and then you have to take like a state and a national test for like getting your license, but you have to complete the first. It was just all the things.
That's crazy.
And then there's still one more. Like I have to take a post license class and then another test. But anyway,
Don't you have to take like one test to become a cop? You have to take 55 tests to become a real estate agent.
But like, there's so much to know.
Yeah.
But I never would have done that if I hadn't been in the industry already. And so I was just looking for ways to like do other things and make income in different ways and just give myself more options.
Yeah.
And it is like the perfect, like I'm having a blast. It's the
Good.
perfect fit. And I never would have considered it if I wasn't already like right next to it in terms of what I was doing.
I think we all kind of forget that that's the point. We're all supposed to be having a blast.
Yes. And learning.
Yes.
And
a lot of us aren't having a blast. But that's the point. We're
Yes.
supposed to be.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and my like perspective on starting something new, because I had already done it, I was like, I'm not as worried about the fact that I don't know everything yet this time around.
Yeah.
Partially because I do know so much about houses already. I'm familiar with how they're built and what goes on, and just the different, like I've been in construction for the past almost 5 years. And so I do have more knowledge than I had like coming into flooring from working retail. But I also just have more grace for the fact that like, I don't know because I can't know, like I haven't done it yet. I don't know, but I'll figure it, like I'll learn and I'll keep going. And so I was able to be like much more gracious with myself I sold a house this year. And so, I was able to be so much more gracious with the stuff that I didn't know than I think I was starting flooring, because I just knew, and I even asked my broker, I was like, do I like need to know more of this? And she like, is there something I need to be doing? And she was like, I mean, like a little bit, but also a lot of it you just learn as you go. Yeah. I was like, okay, great. Yeah. I'll just learn as I go then. figure it out.
That's what I'm picking up from this
Yeah.
whole life thing. You just
Sure.
really learn as you go,
And
no
that's
matter
how
the category.
right.
Yeah.
That's how I like to learn. And so
Mm-hmm.
because I can now be like more understanding of like that's normal. I can't be an expert in something that I haven't done
Yeah.
yet. It takes a lot of the pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
And also just I realized too like because I started making daily like videos
Mhm.
of like my days,
Yeah.
and I at first didn't put realtor on there because
Mhm.
I was like, well, I haven't sold a house yet, so
Yeah.
I'm not really a realtor.
Oh.
And then I was like, wait, no,
Me-
I have a license.
Yes.
I am a realtor.
I
I'm
feel you.
going to sell a house.
I know that exact
This is
feeling,
gonna happen.
girl. Yes.
And so I like corrected that and was like, no, I'm adding it, and it's part of like how I market
Mhm.
myself.
yeah.
But part of my realization was that literally every single realtor that starts hasn't sold. Like
Yeah.
everyone starts with no houses sold,
Mhm.
and then you sell a house, and
Yeah.
then you sell more, and then you keep going. And so I was glad that I like caught that and was like, no, this like I am real. This is what I do.
Because the imposter syndrome will get you down.
Yes.
It'll get you so quick.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like no. This like I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go. So
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Sure.
That's like I just have started trying to focus on becoming a beginner. Just begin
Yes.
something.
yes,
Just make it exist. It can be perfect
for
later
sure,
on.
100%.
Yeah. And
100%.
so, as you can see, we're trying
Right
on the beginning.
You're doing a thing.
Yes.
And that's such a big deal. And what I've found too is that the people who have also been in that position are going to cheer you on.
Mm-hmm.
The people that haven't might, but they also might not because they
Yeah.
might not understand. But anybody else, I mean, like, my dad finds out that someone is like thinking about starting a business or thinking about quitting like their regular job, and he's like, do it, just do it. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, it's so awesome, it's so amazing. And like, obviously there are hard things, but
Yeah.
he's such like he cheers people on so much
Mhm.
because he saw what it did for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've definitely become that way too. I'm like, yeah, just go for it, just
Yeah.
do it. And like, I was joining him, so it's a little bit different than just going
Mhm.
out on my own. But I think, I don't know, everybody that understands what that's like is like totally for you
Mm-hmm.
and is going to do anything they can do to help you,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Well, I think it also comes down to everything in this life is hard. Anything worth having is
Yes,
hard.
100%.
So you get to pick your hard. You
Yeah.
either get to go to
Yeah.
the job that you hate every day that's hard,
Sure.
or you get to go try to do something on your
Yeah.
own that's hard.
Right.
So every day you get to
Sure.
wake up and pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even if it ends up being like a failure, like not that I think anything is going to be a failure, but
Yeah.
like even in the situations that you fail,
Mm-hmm.
you still try. Like
Yeah.
you tried.
You were still
And that's-
successful in
you-
the beginning.
You went out to do something,
Mhm.
and like I think there's so much to be like that's better than not
Yeah.
trying.
Well, because all life is experience. You're supposed to be experiencing life.
100%.
If you experience the exact same thing every day, babes, what are you experiencing? A
Right.
loop. You like
For
come
sure,
on.
it just keeps
Yeah.
going. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
What is your biggest responsibility at this stage in your position?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say just the overall like the projects.
Mhm.
There are a lot at this stage of like how my dad and I kind of have structured things at this point where he doesn't go to the house that I'm going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And so from start to finish, like I'm the person that knows what's happening at these
Mhm.
houses. And so just making sure that everything goes the way that it should.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think with that is like the reputation of our company is
Mhm.
like on, not just on me,
Mhm.
but it's, and not that it's just about the reputation, but like we want a good name. We want to be known for like doing things the right way,
Mhm.
taking care of people,
Mhm.
and being true to what we say, and for people to be able to trust us.
Yeah.
And so just doing that every day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, good. Okay. What are things that still feel challenging even to today with what feels challenging as well?
Things that are so
Just still, yeah.
I think sometimes knowing that and I told my dad this recently, because he asked me that same question, actually. He was like, what's the hardest thing about your job? And I was like, I think sometimes just being the only person that knows what's happening, or that's in charge of what, like, because obviously my guys, like, know what's going on in a project, but knowing everything that needs to happen,
Every moving
and being
piece.
the person that's, like, making sure that it all happens. And that's a lot of people's jobs, but the weight of that nobody else knows, nobody else is around to like working. I always worked with teams, and so that was a big shift to kind of working a lot of the times like by myself.
Yeah, you are your team.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm the team. And so obviously I have wonderful people around me. Like our subcontractors are amazing, and the people that we work for are amazing. And so I'm not just like out here on my own, but I'm not running to JJ to ask him like, hey, what am I supposed to do with this repair? Like that's we're not like putting 7 minds on like a tough situation in the same way. And so, and then just like run it like in a store, everybody knows what's happening because you're all there and you're all looking at it. And so to have a lot of projects where like I'm the person.
Yeah, you're the puppeteer of
it's me.
the whole thing.
And so am I like equipped and capable and do that well? Yes. But does it also sometimes just feel a little heavy? Also yes. And so that's where like knowing when to call in backup or when to like take a break is a good thing to try to gauge.
Do you feel as if, or where you're at now, being 5 years in, does it feel as if does it feel like what you expected it to feel like?
Yes, and I was thinking about that, like, yes and no. I was thinking about that the other day because I was so sure that it was going to be a good thing and that it was going to work out. And it was great and then, like, really, really hard. And then now I feel like I'm living in the part that, like, I just knew it was going to be like this. And I had no idea how great that was going to be. But I knew, like, no, this is going to give me, like, the freedom and the quality of life and the options that I want. And it took a while to see that to like the full extent that I'm getting to see it now. But I, especially like stepping into adding like real estate, I'm like, no, I think I'm like living in the thing that I like knew was going to happen 5 years ago, but I also didn't know it was going to be this great at the same time. So that's really cool.
I bet that
I'm
is
super
cool.
thankful.
Yeah.
That it like
because a lot of people do not get to experience that feeling.
I'm very, very thankful for that.
Okay. What do you wish you knew before you started?
Oh man. I think management, again, like going back to I didn't know anything about what it actually took to like manage people. And so knowing that a lot of management is I physically didn't do the thing that needs to be fixed, but I am the person that's getting talked to about it. And I am the person responsible for making sure that it gets fixed. And so being able to take that like as hard but not too hard as I need, like accurately like put that in the files of my brain of like, this doesn't mean that I'm a failure, but this does mean that there's something that I need to address, and then something like immediately address, and then look at, okay, is this like a pattern that's happening that we need to like address on a bigger scale, or is this a one-off thing? And I just didn't know. I didn't know because I hadn't done any type of management work. But that's one thing that I think about, that like, man, and I even told my husband, because he's done a lot of management stuff, I was like, you didn't tell me.
You could have told me this.
Right, you didn't tell me that I was going to be responsible for other people's stuff, and like what that was going to be like.
Yes.
And it's like, every manager experiences that. Like, it's a totally normal thing, and I'm a lot more comfortable with it now. But at first, I was like, okay, what? This is crazy.
So hold on.
I didn't do that. But like,
said actually, that sounds like a personal problem.
I am responsible for it, and yes, we're gonna fix it. And it doesn't mean like having to like separate that in my head was hard for me at first. So it's gotten easier to be like, okay,
decipher.
Let's tackle it. Let's figure it out.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the biggest mistake that you see other people that are well, if you can answer this.
Sure.
What is the biggest mistake that you see other entrepreneurs making,
That's such a good question.
in your opinion?
I think one thing, I don't want to like, I'm sure people could point out all kinds of things that I'm not doing well. And so I don't necessarily want to like speak poorly about how other people are doing things. I don't have like, and that's not what you're asking, but like, I don't have the whole picture. But I think that a thing that I notice is when businesses don't have as much of like when the personability starts to get lost. And I think I noticed that because I've done that and can do that. And so something that we kind of come back to a lot is just, hey, this is us, and we're like a family business, and like that's kind of what getting. Let me rethink that. So I think losing the personability, and it's obviously fine. Like we have things that we have automated, but that's what I get frustrated with dealing with if I call and it's like a robot or something.
Same.
I'm like, oh, this is such a bummer.
Screaming at it, pressing all the buttons.
That's a necessity for some people. I totally get it. But the businesses that I enjoy working with the most are the ones that keep their just sense of like them being personable towards their customers and their clients. And representing themselves in a way that's really personable. I think that like really sticks out, and I think a lot of people with how much is automated and how much is here's the system and here's the process, people like crave that type of connection from the business, and so I think that's a big deal to like keep and hold, and we talk about that. Just wanting to make sure we don't ever lose that.
We're just remembering that there is a relationship that needs to be like, cultivated through both ways.
For sure. It's not all like, yes, we're doing a job, but at the end of the day, like we're all humans on the earth. Like there's some more depth to
it doesn't always have to be just transactional.
Sometimes, and not in a casual way about like the quality of work that we do, but sometimes my dad will be like, it's just floors, Skyler. Like it's just just the floor.
It's not that their whole house isn't on fire.
But just like to put into perspective of, especially when things are challenging, like, okay, this is a floor, and somebody like in the grand scheme of everything that happens in the world, it's helpful to have that perspective and not to use it as an excuse to like not do a good job. That's not what I'm trying to do at all, but just to have the perspective of like the gravity of the situation can be helpful.
What is something that you believed early on that turned out to be wrong?
That's a good question. I think that one of the things that comes to mind is, and we've already kind of talked about it, but the like always being. Can you ask the question again?
Yes. Sorry. What's something you believed early on that turned out to be wrong?
Okay, so for example, I thought early on that like this type of work and being in a small business, that the norm for everyone was that we were always at work. And that was always you're just always on the clock, and there's no shift. Like you're just, everyone can access you at all times. And I think I also thought that what we were doing was important enough, and it is important, but that it was important enough that we needed to not take breaks. And that like if someone is texting me at 9 p.m., then like I need to respond. Like this is very important. And there are some 9 p.m. texts that I'm going to respond to depending on the situation. But most things are not an emergency or require I don't have to give every ounce of me for every hour of the day to this job. I'm going to give it the best that I can during the time that I'm working. But like I have a whole life to live, and my job is a big part of that, but it's not the only part of that. And my dad is very much because he worked. Like, this also opened up a whole new world for him when he started this business. And just, like, the time that he was able to have and the freedom that he was able to have. And, yes, there's more responsibility that comes with that. But I think, based on his previous experiences and then what he was experiencing working in this job, he has extended that type of mindset to me of, like, no, we didn't get into this to be, like, tied down more. Like we got into this to build something and to make something awesome, but to also like have a different kind of like quality of life than we had before. And so I'm grateful that I was wrong about how much I was going to have to like be on the clock or be thinking about things. I recently started I have, like, a lot of times I clock out before 5, and I don't, like, clock in and out, but, like, I finish before
Mentally
I'm
clock
mentally
out, yes.
like, all right, we're done, I'm
Uh-huh.
out. But then I'll get a phone call. Like, I'm done at 4:15 or 4, or even 5, and I'll get a phone call, and I'm like, huh. But that's a totally reasonable time for someone to call me.
Yeah.
And anybody, for any reason. I thought I was done for the day, and now I'm not. And so that's the frustration. It's not necessarily at then. And so, recently, I'm like, okay, I'm physically clocked out. I'm done with my work for the day, but I'm going to mentally stay on call until about 6, because that would be a totally reasonable time for people to need things from me. And then I just, like, sometimes I'll leave my phone in the other room for a while.
That's a really good idea.
Have a break from it. It can be in the kitchen while I'm doing other things.
Yeah.
I'll check on it later.
Me and you, we're gonna break, babes.
Everybody's gonna be okay.
You're gonna hang out in the room. I'm gonna
and I hear
go do
that,
something.
and I hear that advice from other people that are like in different, or I guess one person stands out, of like a remodeler that I heard. It's like, yeah, just like see how long you can go. Like, see if you can do a whole day without your phone. Like, is everything gonna survive? Is everything gonna be okay? And like, yeah. It does. So learning how to have like detachments and take breaks has been great for that. So I'm glad it wasn't how I thought.
Okay. What is something that separates people, in your opinion, what is something that separates people who succeed from people who quit? Or quality, or...
Sure. I think that, like, being able to grow is a big deal, and being okay, like, within that, you have to be okay to fail. You have to be okay to get up and try again tomorrow. And so if you're willing, I think if you're willing to grow, whatever that looks like, that, like, that's how to succeed. If you're just open to growth when it's hard and when it's easy.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. Just have to be open to be able to be flexible.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
It's a good thing to learn.
And then... what is the most underrated part of success?
I think we just finished a project for a couple that we ended up doing, like, kind of a light remodel for their house. And I think it just, like, felt so great and there were some hiccup, like, anytime you're doing remodeling, or like anytime you're removing something that's been in a house for a long time, you don't really know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
And so I learned to start those with, like, hey, we may uncover something that leads us in a different direction. We have to do this we have to address, and, like, that just may happen. So there were some things like that, but it felt so great to have had such a good and, like, fun project. Like, it just, other than, like, the couple of hiccups, like, it just went really smoothly. And so I think can you ask it one more time? I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
What is the most underrated part of success?
I think just that it feels good to help people. And, like, because I get to do, like, a service-based thing, I leave a house that we just did a bunch of work on, or did different things, and, like, the people are happy, and I'm happy. Like, it feels great to have been able to impact someone's house like that, and have them, like, love where they live because of something that you were a part of. Like, that's so cool.
Okay, so can you give me a little bit more insight into what it was like whenever your dad was starting the business, from your perspective?
Yes, so he, I don't know if I knew that much ahead of time that he was going to quit his job. But I do remember that so he drove like a company truck. And so there was a brief time that he just like didn't have a vehicle because he had to like turn his work truck back in, and then he needed to like find a truck and then like buy a truck.
Yeah.
And he wanted to pay cash, and he found one like outside. I don't think it was like there was something that was going on. Like someone had to go out of town, or he had to. There was like a little bit where he didn't have a vehicle, which I was like, man, that's like
real inconvenient.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like you're just doing it, even though you're not going to have a vehicle.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to go out and do this, and that's just so awesome. And then he like got it wrapped and was just like doing his thing.
Yeah.
And again, like I wasn't around as much at the time, and so I don't know like day to day like what that looked like for him. But starting like when I started and just seeing how much he had to like think about and decide and coordinate, like there's a lot of mental things that go into running a business that I just have no idea about.
Yeah. Did you ever feel the pressure from that whenever you started?
Yes.
Like
for sure.
secondhand pressure?
Yes. Especially, and it's like something that we've, I think we've gotten better at communicating about, but yes, no, we have, because, so, this was a big deal. I just need things very clearly laid out for me. I just want to know, like, exactly what's going on, and he's a little bit more like, yeah, like, everything's, he's just more laid back. I'm
go with
like,
the
tell
flowy.
me every single detail that's happening. And so, not wrong on either sides, but I started to take on when things would slow down. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this means I'm failing at my job. I need to be doing more. I need to be doing this. And getting more business, like cold calling is not my favorite thing.
No,
I do
that's
not
not
enjoy
fun.
it. I want to know the people that like it, because tell me more.
Yeah, tell me how you do that.
And I've gotten way more comfortable with it. But I would take it really, I would take the responsibility of things have kind of slowed down for a second, or even for longer than a second. Very like, okay, this is on me, that we're not as busy as we could be. And I finally worked up the nerve to just ask. And I asked him, like, within this last year, I was like, how much, because it was like, it just kept being a problem for me, like anytime, because we'll just have different, and I didn't know, like, working retail, if it was slow, like it was fun, like, I think the business was okay.
Yeah. We're still getting paychecks.
Right.
Yeah.
Apple is still going to keep functioning,
Yes.
even if, like, I had less customers today than I did yesterday, and so small business is just a little bit different, and so, we would just have different seasons of busyness or slowness, and so in the slow times I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is all my fault, I should have been doing X, Y, and Z, and like sometimes yes, I should have been doing some different things, but I asked him in this last year, I was like, Dad, what percentage of us slowing down do you see as like being on my shoulders? And he was like, oh, 0. And I'm pretty sure I started crying right there.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whoa.
You're like, man, I've been carrying this company. Yeah.
I have had that, like, on my back, not even, like, knowing.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I, like, took on.
Just, like,
and then have just been,
subconsciously.
like, walking around thinking that, like, the success of our business is on my shoulders. And so, to find out that, like, nope, it is not. Sorry, I'm crying about it.
No, you're
But,
okay.
like,
I'm the same way. I get that.
like, this is, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, that finding out that like was not the case was such a relief, and it actually, like, things started to shift in how busy we were, honestly, pretty shortly after that. And I think that some of that, like, not because of me, but like because I let go of like trying to control that and trying to like carry that, and like put it in his hands, put it in God's hands, of like, this is not on me, like, who am I to think that I can, like, feed myself anyway in the grand scheme of things? And so that, like, mindset shift completely changed how I do things. And I was like, I just feel so free. Like, I can just go do my thing now.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be as, like, tight up when I go give an estimate, because if we're a good fit for you, awesome. If we're not, like, that's okay.
Yeah.
And so it really helped me to just chill. Like, I think that has been one of the biggest shifts, is I just chilled way out after that. And I don't remember where I was going with that, but that was like a huge shift. Was like, okay, no, that's not on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So like, just do your thing.
Yeah, just show up and be the
made,
best you can be.
Right. It's made such a big difference in having such a better time.
Yeah.
Just like letting go of the care of that. So.
No, that it is a big deal. Like I have been really trying recently to like just like it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Like, and especially with this, because I have been having to cold call people.
Sure.
And like not getting responses back, getting no's, asking
Sure.
they're asking to watch an edited video that I don't have yet. Like just all the things, and just being like, okay, well, it's gonna be okay. There's going to be a person that will say yes.
Sure.
Like, the sun's still gonna come out tomorrow.
Right.
It's gonna be okay.
It's
I can just block them off my email. It'll be fine.
Yes.
We'll move on to the next.
It's okay.
But that has been the hardest thing.
Sure.
But yeah, no, literally, I did have to be like, you know what, God, actually, this one's on you.
Right.
You can go ahead and take it all
Your
over.
ideas,
Yeah.
so, like,
I'm good with the stress of that.
Sure.
You can have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I get it. Well, thank you so much for being on Million Hour Workweek. I enjoyed having you on. And now we will see you at work.
Okay, sounds great.
Perfect. Let's go do that.
Well, let's do it.
Great. See you there. Okay.
All right, we've got the purse that's got everything I need to film. I've got you. I need to get a drink. So I need a kind bar. That's what we'll be doing today. See you later. I actually do need my directions, so I'm gonna change where you're at. You're actually gonna come over here. Okay, right. You're gonna sit right there. Hold your eye. I hate to tell you because I've gotta pull up the address. Okay. I'm gonna get there 9 minutes early. Alright, let's do it, guys. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. We are about 4 minutes away. I'm attempting to do new stuff, to be a beginner at different things. This is my first thing. Was I wanted to begin the podcast, which I'm starting today. Today is the first day, day 1. Thank you all for being a part of my morning. But yeah, now we're gonna do that. And hopefully I have a fantastic time. That's the goal. Is to trying to have fun and learn some new stuff about some different businesses. So I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna text her and get all my stuff. Okay, sending me for the road. Let's get all my crap. This is off to a great morning. My mornings never go this good. We are gonna sit here until I see Miss Ma'am, or unless she texts me.
So there's going to be a bunch of people in here that probably don't want to be filmed, but there might be
It's okay.
things that can be filmed, so...
I'm probably just gonna keep it to me and you.
Okay, that's perfect.
Mm.
So I started getting in the truck with my dad like this when I was still working there because I was part-time because I was going to school. And I was like, oh my gosh, you like get to be outside all day and you get to go wherever you want and like decide when you're done for the day. And it just like opened up this whole new way of thinking about how you could work. And I was like, this is amazing.
So I like that,
Let me sign up
Yes.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So
But good.
a lot of times I leave and I don't know what's going to happen in the day.
That's the fun about it.
It is. So I have this app that I use to keep track of all of my thoughts because I will forget things if I don't write them all down. but it's all of my little to-dos.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so a lot of times when I have just like a bunch of things to knock out before like the next place, I'll go to like a coffee shop and just work.
That's fine. My goal is for us to be both working out of the house by the time we have kids. That way that we are involved and present parents.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see I'm trying to make my goal happen right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's the goal.
It's a big transition, but like those are all such like good plans. It's a lot of why like I chose to do this as well.
Yeah.
It was like because I was gonna go to more school. I got my associates in 2021. No, 2020. 21.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go to more school or take this job. And this like starting out, this was a significant pay cut. We were fine. But I was like, I think if I do this, it's gonna give me everything that I want. I'm just gonna have to like see it, like wait some of that out. But I also knew like I don't want to have to go to. My option was like go to school and get into a lot of debt, and then I can't leave the job that I'll get. Like if I have kids, or when we have kids. But I was like, but this, I probably have some flexibility when we get to that point, and so I'm glad I went with it.
Yeah. Yeah, my thing is that, like, I always feel like I need to know every single choice and every single thing that I'm going to do, every single decision, what the outcome of every decision is going to be, all of it. And it's been very hard to let go of that because I'm a very control freak, like, as bad as it gets type person. So... But I'm just basically like, with this, I was like, I'm going to give it a year and a half of my life before I criticize anything that I'm doing, before I criticize any of the, like, input that I'm getting back. Just that way that it can be out there because it has to exist and it can be perfect later. So that is what I'm working on this year.
Basically had to like force me to quit.
Really?
Because like my dad offered me this job, and then I took like weeks, and I knew it was coming. Like it was like a progression.
Yeah, my first year doing taxes with lashes, I paid in like $1,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't like that. Usually, you guys give me money.
Right.
Nope. They said, actually, you will be giving us money. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, somehow my first year, because I had my W-2, like, I quit in August. Yeah, like, August 1st was my first day with my dad. So I worked half the year and the other half, like, on a 1099. And I set aside, like, 30% of my income for taxes, like, to pay my taxes, like, the next year when I switched to 1099. I think it was that year. Because you made me an employee pretty quickly after that. But
so you were a contractor?
Because I had a W-2, yes, the first year. Because we didn't know like how to structure things and like what my job even really was going to be or how I was going to make money. It was like, I don't know that we can do commission just like right out of the gate because we won't make anything. And I was like, yeah, I can't make nothing.
Yeah, I might have to make at least something.
I have to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, I can give you like $15 an hour. And I was like, I will figure that out.
Yep, I'll take it, I guess.
I will make it work. And then slowly but surely, like as my position became more valuable, I was able to like make more.
You're like, actually, I'm gonna need some more money, babes. That $15 ain't cutting it no more.
It worked for what it was. It was like, I know that this is what I'm getting into, and like it'll work out. So now I make commission on the jobs that like have more than 3 trades involved. Like if I'm basically your general contractor, I'll get a cut for running the job, which has made getting those jobs so much easier because there's so much more work than just doing the floor. If we also like paint and like that job with the carpet and the tile and all the stuff, like I spent a month over there. And so I'll get like a cut of that on top of what I make. But my first year of taxes, I ended up getting to keep all of my money because somehow with like having the W-2 and then switching, like like somehow it evened out.
Yeah, they had withheld
Until I was like, cool.
I'm gonna see if they have a mocha frappuccino. Do you guys do mocha frappuccinos?
Oh yeah, we have like a frozen coffee, and then we can put whatever syrup you want in it.
Great. I'll do one of those.
And I'm gonna get a small cappuccino.
That sounds good.
Hello, ladies. How are you guys? Great. Not a good thing.
You ready?
Yes.
Perfect.
Glad that you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm having a fantastic time, girl. You gotta realize this year every day. This is like nothing I've ever done before.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, and that's how I felt when I started, like with my dad. I was like, wait, this is so cool.
Yeah, you said actually I kind of love it. Yeah.
Bye, beautiful. Have a great day.
It was nice to meet you.
Have a great day.
Have a good day. And thank you so much. That was so much fun.
What's up, Dad?
I was like, where did they go? But you're here.
This is Makira.
Happy
This is my
Monday.
dad,
Nice to
Greg.
meet you.
Pleasure. I'm so excited for you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
this is gonna blow up.
I think
Oh,
so.
I hope so.
You have such good ideas.
Yes.
Seriously, we just look like we call each other.
I
every
mean,
day. Like,
I
we have the
got
same
you got
color.
like Sunday go to meet shoes. I got working shoes.
I got work
That's
to
gonna be
do.
good.
You're buddy. Thank you.
You mind if I thank the
Yeah,
Lord?
Absolutely.
God, you're so kind. Thanks for this day. Thanks for our new friend Makira. Please bless her business. Thank you for us. Thank you for Skyler. What a gem. You're so kind that we're not stuck in an office. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
So yeah, and I did
Like that's why I made those little cards so they could go
100. I'm
and
like,
knock and doorknock, which I say, and I don't do that for floors,
And-
but
probably not Noah because he's in the country, but people come to our Thunder's home when people come to our door.
right.
You know, it's a reality of life. Oh, I met a friend this morning. So there's a pine at Evergreen that's probably like this and 35 feet tall. Half the needles are gone. I texted Daniel Slagle. He's over all the crowns. I was like, bro, that tree's cooked. He's like, look, we got to save it. Long shot. This morning, there's a board certified master arborist in Tulsa.
Thank you so much.
That's it.
Thank you.
And I called them at like 8 o'clock and talked to the wife. They're both forestry people from Mizzou, probably 10 years older than me. I got on their website, like you can definitely know what they're doing. And she said, well, I'll have Chuck, and then I sent the Evergreen address and a video of the tree. I'll have Chuck call you and he'll try. It won't be today. We're covered up. We're buried. We're coming back from looking at my land and legacy trees. I was like, I'm just going to go by and look at that tree one more time. Can't make this up. I pull in, 60 seconds later, old boy pulls in. He never called me. He never nothing, you know, and I was just like, oh, it's tree care. I was like, bro, we're supposed to meet. What up? So I got his card, and that tree's going to be fine. It's a pine saw, S-A-W, beetle.
Okay.
And it's almost finished eating all of the old needles,
Okay.
but it's not going to eat the new needles. He said they should be gone by May.
Wow.
Super guy. I said, do we need to hire you? He said, I wouldn't. So anytime somebody tells you that, you're talking to a real dude. It's
Right.
like, no, don't invoice me. Just wait. It should be fine.
Yeah.
And then I forgot we had 2 other pines by our AC units, and we walked over there, and they're in good shape. But I made a friend. I like to meet people. I always make a friend, and you never know. You know, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
Not gonna sit down. We don't let subcontractors sit down except him.
Well, I snuck in early.
Yeah, I know.
Nice to meet you. Have a great day. I'm Makara. I'm following Skyler around. I do a podcast.
Okay.
Yep.
For small businesses?
Yes. So I interview the owner, and then I do a day in the life vlog where I follow them around for their day, and then vlog everything like that.
Okay. Very
Yep.
nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next year.
I loved that wallpaper. That was so cute. Yes.
I doubt they're gonna keep it, but
Yeah, I figured it was pretty outdated for them, but it was cute.
yeah.
You don't see a wallpaper wall and ceiling very often.
No, you sure don't.
I love the "who are you here with" question. And I'm just like, just myself. I'm just here. Yeah.
My plumber is the best.
Yeah, he seems super sweet.
He's like, could be my dad, but he's like so, I don't know, he talks to me like I'm a dude that's been doing this for 50 years, and I'm definitely not, but like, it's just so nice of him to,
Yeah.
like, you clearly had your mom around to like, teach you
How to
or
change
your
up
dad
people.
taught you, well, like, I don't, it could be either gender, but. Okay, what is going on here? Oh, they pulled up the getting into the job that we need to be at is like a big percentage of
Yeah.
what we figure out. How are we gonna get in here?
That's great.
I can't believe it's already like 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it's been going by fast.
So
I'm having a great time.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm
So
having a
glad.
fantastic 10 out of 10 day, girl.
Good. I'm so glad.
I'm having a great time. I love every room of this house. Okay, let me show you this power bathroom. I'm sorry. What? The chandelier. I mean, like, I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah?
That guy had built like 30, not as a builder, but like as a homeowner, had built 30 houses.
As a homeowner,
Yeah,
you built them?
he was old. Like,
That's crazy.
had them built and moved in.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do it himself.
Oh, yeah, but that's still wild.
like, that's so many houses.
Yeah.
Okay, you can come look at the store and hang if you want.
Oh, perfect. No, I'll come. Don't you worry. Oh, we're going.
All kinds of things. Look, they're gonna bounce around.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. We're gonna grab them. You're welcome, of course. Thank you. It was nice to meet you. Thank you for letting me hang out with your dogs and be in your home. I appreciate it.
So you guys will be done tomorrow.
Well, 5 o'clock. Look at you, girl.
Man, I planned to be finished much before this. But
Okay. And now we're home.